Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I'll also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support, any kind of updates and the such. I usually go about on Twitter X. Um, there is no gaming series no or demos. I didn't find anything interesting so far. Again, I've been in short of time to do so. I still need to put Jusa on the completed gameplay series yet. I've been with a lot of stuff to do lately. But yeah, I will try to see if I can introduce something starting Monday. It's been complicated mainly to time constraints of having some free spare time to do all the things that I want to do there. But other than that, we already have a lot of completed gameplay series here if you want to check out the 4K, the most recent ones, 1080p, the earlier ones. But yeah, other than that, let's go to the news. Similarly, there is RTX Pro, the 6000. Supposedly, it's 10% faster than the 5090 in first test. But again, the tests here mentioned are synthetic benchmarks. So uh, give it with a grain of salt. Even though this GPU itself, this professional one, has more CUDA cores, so 10 more GPU cores, it's almost like a full blown GB202 chip there, and it uses basically the maximum amount of power from the connection of the 12-volt power pin. So we got that to worry about there. But yeah, this one is interesting because this again has more VRAM. Also, I think it has 96 gigabytes of GDDR7. So even in memory bus width and everything, it's the same. It only has like extra VRAM. And again, I think this is, as the name mentioned, of this GPU for more professional workloads. And it's expensive like hell. Supposedly goes around for $8,000. But supposedly there are some programs with the independent AI developers special grant stuff there that can reduce the cost of this GPU as much as $5,000. So almost bringing to a close in terms of price of 5090, which is interesting. I don't know how you can go about and apply for that if you want this GPU. But yeah, supposedly it's around 9 to 10% faster than the 5090 at stock. Again, this is synthetic benchmarks. Supposedly, Level 1 Techs did a benchmark of Cyberpunk game there, but there is nothing here on this table. But they managed to overclocked again, and this is, I think, compared to the 5090 in stock, it can ramp up to around 14% faster, which is interesting. But again, for the price at the retail, if you manage to snag one of these, again, I'm not sure in terms of priorities regarding this GPU for professional workloads. But given that it costs this amount, I suppose they have some stock for this to sell because it's a huge amount of money just to get that extra VRAM and those little 10% extra cores. Yeah, given that it's a professional card, uh, I don't know how well it's going to be in terms of service for games. I think this is has some special drivers also, so that's that. I think that's why it's more turned to professional workloads, I assume. But yeah, interesting thing to see. But yeah, other than that, hopefully it doesn't have like any missing ROPs or anything like that, and that the drivers are good on this GPU, or else you're just spending $8,000 to basically have a defective product to in a certain degree. Then on the gaming stuff here, we got Avon Studios founder Jade Raymond leaves the PlayStation third-party studio. This is from the Fair Games. It's like a multiplayer shooter that doesn't look any good at all, and then we only saw at this moment like CGI trailers. So there's that. Also, no in-game kind of trailers there with some gameplay there to people have a sense of what this game can be. I don't think this game is going to be any good. I think it's going to be similar to, oh my god, I completely forgot the name. Concord? I think it was Concord, yeah. Basically, the story of this studio, I think this lady here, she worked um, as a producer, if not mistaken, on Ubisoft. And also then she went to Motive, EA Motive Studios. EA Motive Studios did the Dead Space remake or remaster, no remake, and a couple of others. That studio is also involved in the Battlefield games. Again, not a lot there, but interesting enough, she left then to Google to help Stadia, Google Stadia to get off his feet, which didn't work out very well. But yeah, she left the studio. Again, the studio itself was created in Montreal, Canada, so take it as it will. And supposedly the philosophy is to create games that are a haven for players, and you want to build a studio that is a haven for developers. Again, this messaging, I don't know how well it can be interpreted there. And with that said, the fair game, this game was delayed from 2025 to supposedly spring 2026. Again, I don't think this game is going to even come out. I assume this is going to eventually shut down because this was part of the philosophy of Jim Ryan, the former PlayStation boss, when he was going all in live services. Again, I think this also involved Concord and a lot of multiplayer games that, in the meantime, were cancelled. Some of them were pre-production, some of them were already full production. Others came out like Concord, and after 2 weeks, they were completely shut down. Again, I think this is remnants of the philosophy still implemented by Jim Ryan on going full throttle on live service games. And even that philosophy doesn't has any common sense to it, because if you launch that many live service games, you're basically competing with yourself to a certain extent. Even though the market is already, I think, completely oversaturated with these multiplayer games that they were trying to launch. Again, it reached a point you're, instead of trying to focus on a big one that might cater to a huge player base, you're just launching multiplayer games out of nowhere to see if any one of those will be a success at the cost of the other games. But yeah, hopefully they will shut down more of them, these kind of projects. Again, I don't think at this moment in time and in the near future the market is demanding any multiplayer games. Again, if it comes one that it can revolutionize to a certain extent the multiplayer scene, again, it's not for me. I usually don't play multiplayer games in any kind of sense. I think people are more interested, even in shorter experience, maybe in single multiplayer games with a good story, with a good setup, with good character development, more than, for example, what we've been seeing with Assassin's Creed stuff there, which is like they just ramp up the size of the map they ramp up the size of the side activities. They don't focus too much on character development. They just focus again on the gameplay systems themselves. There is no again. I think the market demands something like Claire Obscures, in a more action-oriented stuff like Black Myth Wukong, something that people can experience and have see some kind of evolution of the characters. There is a story behind it that is compelling to a certain degree, and it's not just a bunch of checklists. I think it's what the market always demanded to a certain point. But yeah, I think the hopefully they'll focus more on this side of things. I think, for example, multiplayer stuff, in terms of single player experience, can be used properly as a synchronous kind of multiplayer. For example, like Death Stranding. I'm thinking about restarting Death Stranding, and from what I played already, the activities that you do that are essential for the gameplay itself, there is a lot of dependency on certain things that can you can do everything single player wise. I think you don't need to be connected to the internet, but it helps a lot on the gameplay systems to have the be connected online for to take advantages of certain things that other players do in their own game that can be basically influence in your own world there, which is something interesting that Stranding tries to do there. similar, like for example Elden Ring, you got the system toward invasions and probably helping out other people with the multiplayer side of things. It's kind of asynchronous, but there is some more direct involvement or in terms of those multiplayer systems. I think this can be leveraged pretty well. Again, depending on case to case regarding the game that people are trying to build there. I think Death Stranding 2 might be. I think Kojima is going to try and probably do something with that in the social aspect of the game itself. On Death Stranding 2, we'll have to wait and see. I still need to play all the Death Stranding to see how much influence and how heavy are those social aspects. But from what I played, it seems well integrated. But yeah, this serves again in this specific case of the Haven Studios. I think it will eventually shut down. They're going to, if not move around the developers that are in this studio to other studios, because this was created then eventually acquired by PlayStation as a first-party studio. Probably will try to move around some of the developers to other first-party studios to see if something works for them. But other than that, I think they will shut down and lay off. Again, the head of the studio just pull the parachute. I assume they got their money's worth of that experience. Probably will see her do other things in the near future because she is being heavily involved in gaming scene. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this will go in terms of the PlayStation stuff there. Then we got the official announcement of Stellar Blade coming to PC June 11th. Again, we already had the leaked trailer. We already have basically the bulk of the information. I covered that there. Again, this is just a reiteration of the information. Again, the PC port will have upscaling technology support. It's a shame that, again, even though it's a recent thing, for DLSS, we'll have DLSS 4, but for AMD, only FSR 3. Again, given that FSR4 is more recent than the LSS4, I'm not sure if it's going to be implemented afterwards. I think automatically implementation of FSR4 can only be done if the game supports already FSR 3.1, if not mistaken. So I'm not sure if this game will be applied there because I only see FSR 3. And again, FSR4 at this moment is only supported for the 9000 series GPUs from AMD there. But it's going to have Japanese, Chinese voiceover, ultra-wide display support, the DualSense controller support, new boss battle, 25 new customs, higher resolution environment textures, which is also always good. But yeah, this is basically going more in depth on those things. And in terms of PC requirements, seems to be pretty tamed. Interesting enough, again, I'm not sure which game engine is used for this one, which I completely forgot to check that one out. But it seems pretty tame. For example, 1080p, 60 frames per second, supposedly graphic presets are low. Very tamed CPU here, a 7600K or a Ryzen 5 1600X. And in terms of GPU, even a 1060 6 gigabytes or RX 50, 588 gigabytes. So if you have around GPU around about this performance level with at least 6 gigabytes of RAM should be enough to play this game. The 16 gigabytes of RAM pretty tame and 75 gigabytes of space on your hard drive, and then to going for the high end, which supposedly trying to target 4K 60 on very high graphic presets. Even then, it's pretty tame. In terms of CPU, iCore i5 8400 or even a Ryzen 5 3600X is enough. And for the GPU side, can be a 3080. So this is an anti-I version, and or RX 7900 XTX. I think the 3080 is more about the VRAM, around 10 gigabytes of VRAM. I think the 3080 has. I think maybe a 6800 XT might be able to reach around with some tweaks on the graphic presets, because for 1440p 60 it's a 6700 XT. So I think probably a 6800 XE might be able to reach the 4K 60-ish if you lower a little bit the graphic presets, hopefully. And even in terms of RAM, you only need 16 gigabytes, and again, the same space size there. Interesting enough, on Steam, there is no PSN requirements there or of having an account there, but the game is still locked in 140 plus regions, uh, which I think from other articles that I read, it seems that Stellar Shift Up, which is the developer, was caught a little bit off guard there regarding the region lock. I don't know what PlayStation is trying to do here. Again, we know what they're trying to do. They really, really, really want the PSN login so they can boost their numbers on PSN accounts and the such to show to investors and get that telemetry and information from players. Um, but yeah, I think they should, if they really want that, they should give something in return to players. And again, stop with this thing with block countries. It doesn't boost your sales. It's 140 regions that are blocked of buying this game, so it's less sales. There is a huge expectation this game will sell well, even though these regions are locked. But yeah, they need to change their philosophy there, because again, we are talking about a corporation that as the corpus suits, they never played games, they don't understand the customer base to a certain degree. They just understand numbers and infinite growth. That's what they do there. And I think I don't know, there should be a call to attention regarding this situation. But yeah, we'll have to see how this will go, if they really going to remove or not this block on the regions there. Then lastly, we got Ubisoft Fallout from the quarterly earnings. Yeah, the stock went down for them almost 20% after the that earnings call. So it's something interesting to see. So even though Assassin's Creed Shadows was the savior of the fiscal year, again, nobody fall for that. But yeah, interesting stuff to see. Again, this is highlighted here is the same thing that we went yesterday. Yeah, people are not happy about this, and just a reminder that it's still ongoing. This legal case regarding AG investments, along with a coalition of other minority shareholders. They filed a legal challenging regarding the thing that they did with Tencent, the subsidiary. Yeah, this is not going well, and even the here ad, I don't know how they're going to deal with the launches there. But yeah, it's just a point here that again, after the earnings call, 20% off to €9 per share, which is not good. I'm just going to wrap up here with some game deals. We got Bioshock the collection again, the free games, the first two, the remastered versions, plus Bioshock Infinite with all the DLC associated with the free games. It's 80% off. I think it's a good deal. We got Cyberpunk. It's on deal, 60% off on the base game, but I think the way to go is the Ultimate Edition, which is 40%, 48% off. Then you got Karma the Dark World. Again, this seems a very interesting game. Very positive feedback from everybody. You got a demo to try it out if you want to. I already played the demo. I published. If you want to check out instead of playing it, you can check out the demo gameplay stuff there, and it's 20% off at this moment. Then you got Midnight Suns is again on sale, 80% off. I really do recommend this game. I did a gameplay series on this one. It's on the main page of the channels there for you to check out if you're curious about this game. But I do recommend this game, especially at this price point. Then you got Pacific Drive, again, base game 50% off. And then finally, The Witcher Wild Hunt. Again, I do recommend Complete Edition with all the DLC there. Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. Again, $10 or €10. I think it's an excellent deal. Again, first playthrough, I recommend vanilla one, maybe with some texture pack mods there, so only visual mods. And then the other playthroughs, I do recommend some tweaking around with the gameplay mods there. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up here. with a plug on my Patreon for extra support as usual. This extra support is more in line for me to try and get around and see if I can get a better storage solution so I can have backups of backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunami Master out.